Good evening. Can you hear me now? I would like to welcome everyone here tonight. I would like to recognize the pastors and clergy in the house. Please stand. No. We welcome you. I would like to next recognize an elected official. Please stand. Larry Walsh Jr., Senator Pat McGuire, Will County Board Member Denise Winfrey, Councilperson Betty Gavin, Jan Quinlan, Terry Morris, and School Board Member Gwen Ulmer from District 86. Thank you. Next, I would like to recognize the officials of the National Board of the National Hookup of Black Women, our National President, Deborah Summers, our National Director, Betty Gavin, our National Parliamentarian, Doris Williams, our National Secretary, Stacey Dillard, our Central Regional Chair, Gwen Ulmer. To the Gold Star awardees and community icons, we applaud you and your work for making a difference in the community and the lives of the people. Thanks to our corporate sponsors, President St. Joe's Hospital, Standard Bank, Raymond James and Associates, and all other sponsors. These donations help to support our many programs. These programs include literacy, family empowerment, Thanksgiving food baskets, health awareness programs, domestic violence awareness, scholarships, and youth mentoring. Our national theme this year is Mission Possible. Our philanthropic efforts have proven that the missions of NHBW is not only possible, but it is live and real, with the organization putting over 50,000 free books in the homes of families since 2010. The mission is possible by mentoring over 50 underserved children in our community. The mission is possible by providing over $11,000 in scholarships to further education. The mission is possible by feeding over 50 families for Thanksgiving. The mission is possible by providing health and domestic violence awareness programs to over 200 men and women in our community. And the mission is possible and lives on with each and every deed performed in the community. We want to celebrate the strength, power, and beauty of our many collaborations and partnerships. In the spirit of the late President John F. Kennedy, we seek and ask, what can we do for our community to make an impact or difference? We ask all who have worked with us to continue, and we reach out to those we have not and look forward to a partnership. Enjoy your evening, and if there is anything any of us can do to make your evening more enjoyable, please do not hesitate to ask either me or any member of the Joliet chapter, National Hookup of Black Women. And I would like to introduce now our mistress of ceremony for tonight is my friend and sister, Diane Harris. She is the mother of 3 and has recently retired from ComEd after 32 years of service. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ms. Diane Harris.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you very much, Madam President, for your introduction. You know when you get mighty, you have to prepare. That's why I took my glasses. What a great crowd of people tonight. All the women look marvelous, and the men are handsome as well. We are so glad to kick off our holiday season with you as our guests. It is my pleasure to be the MC for this evening's program. We have an enjoyable evening planned for you tonight, and we hope you will enjoy yourself. As a member of the National Hookup of Black Women, my mission tonight is to keep it moving. So it is time to get this party started. In the name of Jesus Christ.
Our award recipients will be escorted by our sister Sabrina White. In keeping things moving, we ask that the introduction of the award recipients along with the responses be kept to a minimum of 1 to 2 minutes, please. We hope that you will be obedient to these time constraints. Will the nominators please come forward? As they are coming, we'll prepare for the plaques to be given.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Deborah McDonald, and I am truly, truly pleased and with all pleasure. I'm so proud to present to you today from the National Hookup of Black Women Award, the art recipient. Please let me start by saying that when they asked me to do that, Miss Geraldine, I said, oh, no. But then once she told me who it was, I'm like, I know her. So I was really pleased to be able to do this for her. Now, I'm going to introduce Miss Julia Alexander. From touching little children's lives in her early childhood development classes to owning and operating her salon, National Cut, to touring with artists like David Rain, Antoine White, the late Wes Phillips, and the Iceman, Jerry Butler. To 1995, Julia Alexander started her first fundraising organization, which was called Let's Help Someone, raising over $25,000 for families in need in the Joliet area. If you see Julia, and this name sounds familiar, or maybe the face looks familiar, that's because you've seen her on Joliet's community television station. Her program was called Informed by Julia Alexander. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you National Hookup of Black Women's Artist of the Year Award to Julia Alexander.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, National Hookup of Black Women. Be Informed with Julia Alexander is a Joliet local television program that I came up with years ago. I've been with the television station for over 25 years. I love doing that. I love bringing to the community of Joliet the different events and legislation, candidates, and the mayor and everybody that is a part of Joliet. But what I really want to say is I thank National Hookup of Black Women. A lot of times that's a lowly job. No one ever says thank you. They never even recognize you. And I do want to say, before I go on, she's already told me I have a few minutes, but this today happened to be my 34-year anniversary to that man. Could you stand up and say I love you, but I want to say that giving a person their flowers while they're living, it means so much. And Geraldine, this is for you. I'm going to give you a little of it. And I'd like to thank Robert Harris from Joliet Community Television Station on the camera, operating the camera. Give me my flowers, yeah, while I am living, so that I can see the beauty that they bring. And she's looking at me, I gotta go.
Good evening. My name is Gwen Ulmer, and I am very pleased to introduce the NHBW Gold Star Health recipient, Mrs. Julie Edwards. I met Julie probably 4 or 5 years ago while I was working at Silver Cross Hospital. She has been a long-term employee of St. Joseph's, Present St. Joseph's. She is the Director of Community Health Strategies. But that's not why she stole my heart. Julie is a person who has a work ethic that is above and beyond. And part of our criteria for selecting people was somebody who did more than just what was expected of them. We worked on a program called MAP, which is the health department. And it's mobilizing for action through planning and partnership. A very important program because the Will County Health Department, along with all of our hospitals, are striving to make Will County a healthier environment to live in. But like most of our African American communities, when the surveys went out to ask what was the strength or weaknesses within our community, we didn't respond. Julie went out to seek that. We went to churches, she sought our input, we talked, and she took it upon herself to go to these places, the Spanish Center, places that most of us would not go to get the information that was necessary. She is a person who wants to serve. And for that reason, I just admired her and thought that what she was doing was way beyond what was expected of her. And because of that, the MAP initiative, statewide, people are looking at Will County for what they were able to do. So tonight I present to you Julie Edwards.
Thank you all very much. First of all, I'd like to thank God because through Him everything is possible. I'd like to thank the National Hookup of Black Women, especially Gwen, for nominating me and then also selecting me for this award. I so admire the Hookup's tremendous service that they provide in the community, and I aspire to that myself. I'd like to thank my husband, who's my rock and my foundation, the support when I work the long hours, so thank you for that, Courtney. And my children and my family, because they're not only supportive, but they pitch in whenever it's needed. But lastly, I'd really like to thank everyone in this room, because without you, we couldn't make a difference in this world. And I want to thank all of you for everything, all the commitment and dedication that you do. It's made my job easier in what I do. I'm completely humbled and honored to accept this award, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Edna Brass, and I am here, and I am ecstatic about introducing the Gold Star recipient for education, Gregory L. Thompson. You see, Gregory had a career in corporate for 22 years, but then he pursued that passion for teaching. He took the risk. He began with the end in mind. He had a degree in business, but he pursued his master's degree in education and started his career as a social sciences teacher at Joliet Central High School. His leadership skills and that business sense he used in several aspects of the educational environment, and the door opened for him to have a position at Joliet West as the Dean of Students. But not only that, Greg is also the District Restorative Service Coordinator. In this position, students who may have disciplinary issues have an opportunity to avoid expulsion while also learning conflict resolution and problem-solving skills to affect change in how they approach problems they encounter. It takes hours and hours after school to meet with children and parents. Greg has a strong work ethic, and he has a passion beyond belief to change the lives of students. And National Hookup of Black Women, we partner with Joliet Township High School, and several of us have been trained to facilitate problem-solving circles. Greg is a person with passion, sensitivity, and he mentors. Greg wants to ensure that every student has the quality of life that he deserves. Although the law requires the separation of church and state, you can believe before Gregory L. Townsend deals with any situation as a dean or that coordinator of restorative services, he has sought God's purpose because he is also an associate minister serving in the church at the Church of Bolingbrook under Pastor Calvin Quarles. I bring to you Gregory L. Thompson.
First of all, giving honor to God, who's not just as the head of my life, but the center of my life. Amen? Also, my mother told me to be quick. She said it's her bedtime. So. But I just really am grateful for the women that make up the National Hookup of Black Women and their decision and to engage in our community as well as our high school. Because this award is not just about me. And this is a collaboration of many different people who volunteer to help out with our youth. And there's a lot more left to do. A lot more left to do. And everyone here has an opportunity. You know, I don't even like to say responsibility, an opportunity to engage in some way. Thank you for this opportunity.
Good evening. I greet you warmly on this gala occasion. It is with much honor and distinction for me to introduce the Community Servant Award recipient. Our honoree, Lita Holmes, was born April 19, 1937 in Watonga, Oklahoma. She is the third of three daughters born to the late Clarence and Anna Duke. She attended and completed grade school and high school in Oklahoma's separate but equal schools. Then she attended Langston University in Oklahoma and graduated magna cum laude with a bachelor's degree in sociology in 1956, shortly after she moved to Joliet. Lita met and married her husband, the late Orland Holmes, in 1961, and the couple had 2 children, Douglas Holmes and Stacia Holmes, and 5 grandchildren. Lita received her MSW degree from the University of Illinois in 1961 and returned to work in Joliet. She was the first Black professional social worker in Joliet, and after became the first Black to head a social agency. Lita quickly moved from social worker to supervisor to district administrator in what became the State Department of Children and Family Services. We owe a lot today to her because of her work in stand-up. Her administrative position made her very visible and paved the way for many other social workers to come. There was a time in child welfare, new laws were passed, the protection of children from abuse, neglect. She took much responsibility in informing, interpreting, and maintaining laws in the Joliet district. In addition to DCFS, Mrs. Holmes worked at Lewis University as an assistant professor, teaching social work for 10 years. The Department of Corrections, Illinois Youth Center in Joliet as an administrator, special mental health treatment from 1983 to 1999 when she retired. In the community, Mrs. Holmes has worked with many worthwhile causes. A 55-year member of the Mount Olive Baptist Church, when she was a member of the Deacon Ministry, advisor to the Caregiver Ministry, and member of the Official Trustee Board. She received the Silver Saint Certificate of Recognition, and I might add that for all her life, she has worked and been very dedicated. She is a she's a charter member of Theta Rho Omega and Kappa Mu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Mrs. Holmes is active with the Warren Sharp Community Center as a founder and longtime board member for 25 years. She is a mentor to many who seek her, but her support in some aspect of her lives is great. She is known and loved by many. We, the members of the Joliet chapter of the National Hookup of Black Women and its numerous members and associates, work very hard for this evening and that we can showcase and present women and men who have deserved love and appreciation from you, the Joliet community. We have much to thank. We have much to thank Mrs. Holmes for. To God be the glory. Thank you.
To the illustrious ladies of the National Hookup of Black Women, thank you for your award. This award is living proof of several things. One, that what you do for others counts. Another is what you do for children or individuals, one by one, amounts to much more and always multiplies in its worth. What you do for Christ lasts. And what you do for children can save them and can build stronger families. So this is all relevant because helping is something that we all can do and we must do. So to the members of Hookup, I appreciate the award, and keep on doing the good things that you do because it really counts.
Good evening. My name is Deborah Upshaw, and I've been given the awesome task of presenting the National Hookup of Black Women 2014 Community Service Youth. This young lady is a student at Manuka Junior High. She's an 8th grader. As of the application date, she had the highest GPA and is on point to becoming the valedictorian of the class of 2015. She is a game changer. When bullying became such an issue, she took up the helmet and just ran with it and developed the committee to stop the bullying. She's a certified babysitter as well as certified in CPR. She is under the spiritual direction of Father Raymond Lesher, which is a former icon of the National Hookup of Black Women. She not only is a great student and a great daughter, but she's done so many wonderful things. She gives of her time at the family table to feed and prepare for the homeless and the undomiciled and the underserved. She not only serves there, but at daybreak, as well as families that have lost loved ones. She's there to help serve and give them a smile and a drink and let them know that it's gonna be all right. It is under the guidance of her grandmother, Mrs. Lucius Gala, that Vanessa is right there on her coattail learning and learning and learning and giving and giving. And tonight we salute her, an 8th grader that doesn't have a history like the ones you've heard read tonight, but she's on her way to doing greater things. So we present Ms. Vanessa Gallo, the 2014 Community Service Youth.
Especially for that large applause. I don't look at this as such a big deal, all the stuff I do. I do it because I love doing it. I told my grandmother, I never expected to get an award for this. And she's like, well, you never know when someone's watching. Someone's always watching. And I appreciate the fact that I get to experience this and have this award. People tell me I'm going to go so far with this, and I can't even begin to imagine it. This is just what I do. This is me. I love doing it.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Williams. I am doing the introduction for the Community Icon Award. This year, the National Hookup of Black Women has selected to honor as the community icon Williams Barbershop for their continual commitment to the establishment of business and entrepreneurship on the south side of the city of Joliet. Williams Barbershop is one of the oldest businesses in Joliet. It all started from a dream and or a desire of owners, Pompey and Levi Williams. For nearly 60 years, Williams Barbershop has been a major staple in Joliet, offering customized hairstyling.
I grew up a preacher's kid. That's what I grew up as a preacher's kid. And I hated being in church. Some people say when I get grown, I'm not going to church no more. Nobody but me. Thank you for being honest. Thank you. Everybody else going to hell, but thank you for being honest too. And again, I appreciate y'all bringing me here. I know they wanted Bill Cosby, but he was unavailable. But you can get Bill real cheap right now. He been going down 75%. Okay, no, but he going to all black communities now. He should do a show in Ferguson. He'd do well right now. Go right in there. And that's the terrible thing that's happening in Ferguson. I know everybody has their opinion on it. I have my opinion on it. I say this concerning things like that have happened. If you raise your kids the right way, you don't know what they might do. But if you raise them the right way, I see your hands over there. If you raise them the right way, the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. And I'm not saying you need to beat them. She said beat them. You know, that was a straight cold romance. Beat her. You told Harpo to beat me. All my life, I had to fight. Yeah, I love Harpo, but I'll kill him before I let him beat me. Should have told Ray Rice's wife that story. Hey, is it too soon? Too soon? This is a sensitive audience. This is sensitive. I'm just trying to do my little hot topics. But I believe in disciplining children. I believe in community empowerment. I grew up in Phoenix, Illinois. If anybody know Phoenix? Yeah. I got one person from Phoenix? Come on. Usually people say that Phoenix is 3 blocks long, literally. 3 blocks long. Phoenix is just between South Holland and Harvard. And I grew up in a town I call community empowerment. By that I mean, if you got caught in the neighborhood by someone else, if you were doing something wrong, someone else in the neighborhood had permission to get at you, whether you knew who they were or not. And they would always tell you, I know who you are, but you don't know me. Then they would give credentials. I went to school with your dad. I used to skate with your auntie. You have no idea who's talking to you. But if you got caught on the spot, they can whoop you right there on the spot. And no repercussions. And then they would say, now you know I'm going to tell your grandma. Because I was standing, grandmother was watching, and my grandmother would whoop me. My grandmother would tell my mother when she got home from work, my mother would whoop me. When my daddy got home off that late shift, he would wake me up. This is all in the same day. These multiple whoopings. All in the same day. By the time I got to my daddy, I would just hang my head and say, my name is Toby. Because I was tired of getting beat by like Kunta Kinte. Because my dad was old school. He would say, go in the room, take off all your clothes, and wait for your whooping. I'm here to tell you that the anticipation of the whooping is worse than the whooping itself. Because he was like Jesus, you know not the day nor the hour that I shall appear. So I'm walking around the room naked, singing hymns. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows. Just naked, but Jesus. Mess around and fall asleep. Come on, anybody ever been whooped out there sleeping? Come on, I see you. Is there one more? I see you. I see you. Thank you for being honest. Is there another one? I see you. As the musician plays off, I see you. In the back, I see you. Amen. Every head bowed, every eye closed. Is there one more? That is the worst when you get whooped out your sleep. Because you think you're dreaming. You know, that first hit is like, you're like, oh, that felt so real. I felt the sting. You don't realize you're actually getting whooped in your sleep until you realize there's somebody standing over you. And my dad was from the old school where he would come in with an extension cord. I know, it sounds real rough. I guarantee you, if it was extension cord whoopers in Ferguson, it'd be a lot less trouble. They wouldn't burn no Walgreens down. Because every time I thought about doing something, I would just hear whoosh. Now, I'm not advocating extension cord, and I'm telling you, You know, anybody been caught naked, wet, coming out the tub? Come on, them down south rivers, you can be honest. That's when they meant to get you. That's when they really plot again. They catch you naked and wet with an extension cord. You get hit naked and wet with an extension cord is worse than being shot. You ever been hit so hard you couldn't even holler? Just you felt like you were on fire. You couldn't scream or anything. I think that's where tongues came from. But you had that, shut up. The whole time, turn it loose, let it go, you better let it go. You had never been so strong in your life. And I know, you know, child abuse exists. And I know, who was that on the Vikings? What's his name? Adrian Peterson got in trouble for disciplining his kid. And it might have been a little bit much for 4-year-old. I don't know what the 4-year-old did, but I can tell you this, he'll never do it again. Whatever it was. And it's, you know, plus I think that was just some baby mama drama. That's a whole nother dynamic, another issue. So, but, you know, you really don't have to whoop your kids like that. You know, if you got that strong mama look, you can give them that bionic eye. Just hone it with, my parents used to just look at me in church. Put the fear of God in you know, just the thought of my parents knowing. Because I'm telling you, my parents would whoop me so until it was like fiddling Kunta Kinte. My brother would be sponging me down. He said, as long as you under Master Daddy's roof, you've got to abide by his rules. I said, but one day I was going to be free. I was going to run away from me. Because I was tired of getting like Kunta Kinte, because they didn't, my dad just believed in order in his house, and it was old school. Now I did get the point he did not do it. Now I'm not an advocate of the extension cord. I do believe there's a way to discipline your children. And now they have 1-800 child abuse hotlines. Could you imagine if those existed in the 60s and in the 70s, and the invention of the cell phone would have been out? In the 60s, no, we would have been dead. We had no parents. Because I'd have been calling my parents on the way home from school. Yes, 1-800 child abuse. I need you to be at 741 East 155th Street at 3 o'clock. No, 301 might be too late. I need you to be there at 3 o'clock sharp. You'll recognize him, 6-foot black man with an extension cord. Shoot on sight if you have to. My daddy said, I wish you would have called 1-800 child abuse hotline on me. He said, I'd have told you, call them up so they can hear me whooping your behind live. And I dared them to come and get me, because that's how strong he was. I dared her. I'll go to jail for, because my parents like this, I won't let nobody else kill you, but I'll kill you. Because they believed they wanted to have order in the house. We had both parents in the house. They wanted to have order in the house, so we had rules. You know, they had sayings for everything. Everything was saying, you don't believe fat meat. It's greasy. A hard head make a soft behind. You know, a bullet ain't got no eyes. You know, they just had sayings for everything was a saying. You know, I'll give you just enough rope to hang yourself. You know, so you're not a real parent till you have to say some of these phrases. I said I was never going to say these phrases when I had kids. If Steve Harvey was here, he would say, these here is the top 10 things parents say to their kids. Big Daddy gonna help you out. These here the top 10 things. Some of y'all might have said this today, but these here, Big Daddy got for you the top. I brought you in this world, and I will take you out. You're not a parent until you have to say that, because our kids today are big for absolutely no reason. 6'10", 240 pounds, size 13 shoe, and she is only in the sixth grade. Have you seen the girls? I've never seen girls so big before in my life. It's like the Amazon women. And boys are almost 7 feet tall, not in high school yet. Have you seen how big these boys are? And they're useless. They play no sports. And I was like, you play basketball? I'm like, that's too much running. It's like, you play football? No, they hit too hard. Like, you're the biggest thing out there. You have any aspirations? No, I don't have no headache. I'm cool. The aptitude is ridiculous. They're just big and they play no sports at all. I was like, I know you play something. All they do is when they eat, sleep, and play video games. Oh, they will video game and they can send text messages in milliseconds. Have you ever been trying to respond to a text and they can send you 4 and you still hit them at back. We spend most of the time back. Hitting the wrong button, some back. And all you hear they're sending messages at the speed of their thumbs are so quick. You're still trying to say, come home, back. Their thumbs are so, they have muscle, all their fingers are weak, but their thumbs are strong. They can just pick up stuff with their thumbs. We had chores. We couldn't even get up on Saturday and play. We had to do chores first before we could watch cartoons. We waited all week to watch, Popeye and Woody Woodpecker. And cartoons didn't come on all the time. It was a luxury to see cartoons on Saturday. You couldn't see Saturday morning cartoons throughout the week. So we had to get up, we had to pick weeds. If anybody needed house owners, if it rained, you had to pick weeds, we had to clean, we had to fold clothes, wash dishes. Come on. We couldn't even go to sleep if the dishes were dirty. They would say, before I get home from work, I want the dishes washed, dried, and put away. Not just washed, and not just dried, put away. We talked on the phone, we played outside. We had kids in the house, you really must find no kids in the house. Parents can smell when other children that are not theirs are in their house. They come in the house and leave. Who in this house that they're supposed to be here? Have you ever hid somebody in your house? You ever hid a kid? I remember I hid a girl in the closet. Oh, Lord. Hey, you had to do what I had to do. You understand? I had to do. I was feeding her cornflakes dry. I had to sneak her out the window. That's how she had to get out. She had to sneak her out the window. I don't know if anybody's ever done that. You had to climb out the window. And I thought I got away with it. The next day it was posted on the window that said people get shot climbing out of windows. My mama had left a note before she went to work just to let me know, I know you wrong. Somebody was in my house. The parents could just smell somebody's house, but you have to, she said, wash, dry, put away. And I fell asleep and didn't wash a dish. And was awakened out of my sleep with a loud thump. Midnight to go wash. Now I have to wash not just the dishes that are dirty, I have to wash all. Then she would come in there and inspect the dishes. And I had an Old Testament parent. Both my parents were Old Testament. If one dish was dirty, all the dishes were dirty. If it was one dish dirty, I had to rewash all the dishes. Now, what young people don't understand today is when they say wash the dishes, that does not just mean wash the dishes. That means sweep the floor, mop the floor, clean off the table, the stove, come on, stove. In black households, you have 2 Maxwell House coffee containers on the stove. One is chicken grease. Come on, y'all know the other one. Fish grease. No label, you just have to know. Chicken is on the right, fish is on the left. Because they all say Maxwell. Come on, we grew up when you saved mayonnaise jars and peanut butter jars. You didn't have to buy no glass. Matter of fact, the ice is colder in them jars, them mason jars. Don't buy no, get you some jars, tear the label off, wash it off, and just have all these different size jars in there. And I had to wash everything in the sink, everything in the cabinet, and the fish grease. I think I mixed it up, the daddy fried some eggs with some fish grease. That is the worst thing in the world. Kids not big for no reason, they gotta do chores. Another thing, this is another phrase y'all might have heard, because I believe everything my parents said. You know, my parents were violent. I don't know what happened when they got older. They just changed, but we believed everything that they said. I will set your butt on fire. I will skin you alive. The white people sitting there like, I have never heard of such a thing. Who would do something like this? You know, I believed I was going to be walking around pink, just no skin. I will skin you alive. I will beat the black off of you. The reason why we have high yellow light people today. Everybody came here black. Wasn't no mix. You know, wasn't no, I got Indian in my family. We all came here dark. The more high yellow you are, the more whoopings you got. Y'all think this table is white. They are not. They are black. They've just been whooped a whole bunch of times. They've been whooped a whole bunch of times. The lighter you are, the worse you are. Now, the darker you are, the more obedient you are. I see some people who ain't had a switch laid on. Got their original black on, ultra, polo double black. Somebody break in your house, you can just get naked and sneak up on them. Gotcha! So black you leave fingerprints on charcoal. That's black. Them is the good ones. Them is the good ones. Ooh, but is it me or is it hot in here? What y'all got the heat on? Purgatory? Is it me? They got, is it? It is hot. You know, I'm going through the change. Is it hot in here? Is it hot? They want y'all out of here fast. You know what happened? When we can eat a little food and it get hot, we'll get sleepy and that itis will kick in. Wake us up in the morning. There are kids now lose stuff that they have every day, like their shoes. They say stuff like, you know, Mom, you see my shoes? Now, the last I checked, and they're buying these kids Jordans. I begged for a pair of Converses. Converse, not the canvas, low top, not even high top. Just give me the low top. White, couldn't get it. Jordans are going for $150 a pop. And parents buy for them. I hope they're getting good grades for that amount of money. But they lose a shoe, that's $75 unaccounted for. You know, my mom and dad were just like, listen, don't nobody wear your shoes but you. I want you to go back in that room and don't you come back out until you find me. I would go in the room and be in there for hours and could not find the shoe, and would come back out with a tremor in my voice. I still can't find it. Because they would say, if I have to stop what I'm doing and I have to go find it, it's going to be me and you. And I always said, if you have to stop what you're doing, all my parents were doing was watching Matlock or Murder, She Wrote. Do not interrupt my parents, especially my mom when she's watching Dallas. Come on, especially on Who Shot JR. That phone better not ring while I'm watching Dallas. And Who Shot JR? Y'all don't even remember Who Shot JR. Highest watched TV episode ever. Who Shot JR? Y'all don't remember? It was Sue Ellen. Yeah, she was like, it was. Get the tape. You don't remember Sue Ellen? What'd you say? It was Sue Ellen, right. Whose wife? JR's wife, right. Y'all went back in time for real. So, they would now say, I can't find the shoe. Mama, I cannot find the shoe. My mother would get up and go in the room and go right to the shoe. Like she was the one who hid it and knew where it was at the whole time. What is this? What is this? What is this? Now you got to get beat with your own shoe. What is this? Right in front of your face. If it was a snake, it would have bit you. But on Sunday morning when she was late for church, Mama, you see my purse? I said, Mama, don't nobody wear your purse but you. I want you to go back in that room and look for that purse, Mama, because if I have to stop what I'm doing, it's going to be me and you. I go into the room, it's on the edge of the bed under the pantyhose. Mama, what is this, Mama? What is this, Mama? Sitting on the edge of the bed. If it was a snake, it would have bit you. In my mind. My spirit man my mind, I felt that. That's what I was doing. But I just said, here it is, Mama, right here. You know, you could not, you think of hitting your parent was just out of the question. Come on, that's when the Old Testament law kicked in. You'd be stoned to death right in front of the house. The Mosaic law would exist. My dad didn't even keep a gun. I said, Daddy, what you keeping a gun? You a preacher. He said, this is just to protect me until Jesus get there. He may not come when I want him, but I'm going to be right on time. He said, somebody break in my house, I'm going to shoot him first and pray over him later. Bam! Healing Jesus till the police get here. That's the interesting saying, too. He may not come when you want him. The black church have that. And that's not actually the scripture, but black churches have that. He may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. That's how I discovered Jesus is a black man. He may not come when you want him, but he'll be there. But if he don't come when I want him, what's the point? I actually have scriptures that suggest Jesus may have been a black man. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying some scriptures kind of hint that he may have been black. You know, when Jesus wept, that's when Lazarus had died. It says Lazarus died, whom he loved dearly. Lazarus died, it says Jesus wept. Jesus got to the funeral 4 days late. That's the truth. I'm not making that up. Not an hour late. 4 days late. He on program to do the eulogy, y'all. Is Jesus here yet? He's not okay. We'll have another selection from the choir. Till he gets here. He comes up 4 days late. Mary and Martha, the first thing they said, surely had you been here, my brother wouldn't have died. I said, Jesus may be a black man. Something else that suggests Jesus may have been a black man. He was very vague with all of his answers. Jesus, where you going? I'm going away. When you coming back? I'll be back soon. Well, how soon? Very soon. Well, how will I know? Just be ready. I'm a honk one time. Come outside. Where you going? I go to a place. Well, can we get a hint when you coming? In the twinkling of an eye. Well, would it be day and night? I'm coming like a thief in the night. Jesus is a black man. Another thing that suggests Jesus may have been a black man. He lived with his mother till he was 33. I'm not making this up. Till he was 33. So give a brother to at least 34. You know, any Bible theologian here? Are you a preacher? Are you a preacher? Am I making any of this up? You lived with your mama until he was 33. Y'all talking about when he's 18, he's gone. Yeah, right. Something else that suggests Jesus may have been a black man. He went to jail for something he did not do. This is a fact. You know, he's in jail talking about, yeah, what you in here for? Just driving while being Jesus. But I'm going to be gone in 3 days. Sure you will. On top of that, he got the death penalty. So I'm just saying, right, he got the innocent, he got the death penalty. Jesus could have been a black man. Last thing that suggests Jesus may have been a black man, Joseph was not his real father. Hey, I'm not making this up. These are facts. Joseph was not his dad. He was not the baby daddy. They had to go see more poets. In the case of little baby Jesus, we have the results. Joseph been talking about, this is not my son. Come on. Look at his eyes. Look at his hair. His hair look like wool. My hair is straight. Feet look like bronze. I'm light-skinned, more. This is not my child. We have the results. From little baby Jesus. Joseph, you are not the father. He's like, hey! He's doing New Edition moves. Mary's in the back crying. I got that camera on my face. Because that camera be right on you, don't it? Mary, that's okay. We're going to keep on searching. We're going to have you back on the show. In the meantime, Joseph said he'll be a father to the baby. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying he is, I'm saying he could have been a black man. He understands. Thank you for that piece. Thank you. Everybody else is just like, he is going to hell. I am not clapping when Jesus is a black man. He could have been Hispanic. He had a lot of people around him all the time. But he was Jewish, though. He was Jewish. You figure all those Jewish people, he couldn't find one good lawyer? Like, I thought that would be big in Joliet, but it was Here's my card. Give me a call. How much time do I have left? Just keep going. They only pay for so much. I'll just stop. My dad is a Baptist preacher. He will keep preaching. It could just be 3 people in the room, but he'll just keep preaching. No matter, 3 people. He's gonna preach the same way all the time. We always think he's about to finish. He always says, "I go to my seat." As I come to my close, I'm winding down now. I feel my help coming on. Wow. If y'all pray with me, I can hurry this thing on. Can I get 2 more minutes? I'm like, Dad, it's been an hour. I love my dad, though. He's a good guy. He's taken me with him since I was little. That's the key to being a good parent. Keep your kids with you as long as you possibly can. Keep your sons, especially your sons, keep your sons with you. If they're going to learn how to maneuver in life, they need to be with men who've done it successfully, because gangbangers will teach them how to maneuver. The wrong person will attach yourself to the kid and teach them the wrong things. We got to teach them the right way. Like I said, Ferguson is an unfortunate situation, but that is not as big an epidemic as black on black crime. Us killing us is far larger than police shooting us. Teach them to respect authority, and that won't happen. I'm saying that some of y'all may not agree, but when you learn how to respect authority, when the police say, do this, you do that. Now, there are some bad apples in the bunch. But if you teach your boys how to be proper young men in the way the Bible says, I feel like preaching. The Bible says, raise your children in the fear and the admonition of the Lord, and they will be okay. So I got that out the way. I'll probably sell no DVDs after this. By the way, I do have DVDs. I only have a few. If anybody wants to see me, get 2 for $20 in a nice little bag that says the Ron Baker Jr. Comedy Show. I tell people, support excellence. We support enough foolishness. If you support excellence, you'll see more of what you want to see. Tyler Perry will not be the last billionaire. Bernie Mac is not going to be last. Steve Harvey. If we continue to support excellence, so I have just a few DVDs there, and you get them in a nice little bag, and I'll autograph it for you. Real quick, I want to close with this. Back in the day, I have this big Dean Martin bow tie on. I'm about to choke. Back in the day, choir director used to be real simple. If you ever been to a church and seen them back in the day, they used to march in on second Sundays. Anybody know that? In robes and overlays. Marching in, second Sunday, we come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord. Come on, they would march that thing in. Come on, sometimes they back it up. Hey. That's where the real electric slide came from. They would back it up. Come on, they would stand there too, and they would just rock to the choir director turn. It was simple. You gave them first verse, second verse, third verse, take it from the top, repeat, special, stop, sit down. That's all it was to direct the choir. Now it is an aerobic to direct the choir. And if your heart is not in good condition, you will die right there on the altar. I'm going to close with my imaginary choir. Thank you. Thank you, Gold Star Gala. Oh, thank you, you're too kind. Thank you. Thank you. Look at this brothers, they standing up. I have to say hello to the Withers family. They're my only connection to Joliet. It's been, what, 25 years? If not longer, Mr. Withers and the Withers family. They are my, ooh, I'm getting too old for this. Ooh, my neck and my back. I have to say hello to them. They are the greatest example of a godly family in Joliet. If there was no other good family in Joliet, I haven't met everybody, but they are the goodest family. I can go knock on the door at midnight and she got some food and some conversation. Mr. Withers, great supporters. Ooh.
Now you need water.
All of the kids, just a great family. So I have to say hello to you, and I love you all publicly in front of people. Thank you for coming out. See you for your DVD. Before you leave, I'll be at the table right where you came in at. And go to Facebook, comedian Ron Baker Jr., like the page. And I'll see you the next time. God bless. I got to fly back to Rollins.